Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Um Today what I'm going to talk about is something really personal that happened to me, and why I want to say this, not because I want to feel or you guys say that I'm being like a victim or victimized or anything like that at all. This is because I know that somewhere around the world someone is going through something like this, or even worse than me. In my case, my experience was a certain touch that you should not do to a child. In this case, it was my stepfather. Um, Let me just go a little bit back toward the story and things like that. My mom, she's from Mexico, and when she was pregnant, I think she had some problems with my dad, and they couldn't be together anymore. So what happened is that she was really heartbroken, so she just decided to go to USA and start a new life, just like that. Even till now she doesn't know why she did that, but she just needed a fresh start, a new start. And she was a really hard working mother. She had to leave me with a lot of people to take care of me. It was really hard times. She was a waitress in a Mexican restaurant, and one time she met this man that he gave her a big tip, like $100. So she was like, who is this man, or what does he want, or things like that. And this man, he started coming every single day for lunch just to be talking to her or just to say hi to her. Eventually, he asked her for a date, and my mom accepted because he was really kind, and also, well, he sounded like a good man, and they ended up being together like a boyfriend girlfriend relationship. And my mom always respected the house. I never saw anything. And I was like 4 years old when he um started like going out with my mom. And the truth is, you guys, this guy, I'm not gonna say his name, let's call him um John, whatever. Let's call him John, okay? This guy, he was so nice. He was like so amazing to me. I I've never had a dad figure in my life. So when he came to me and he was like being so nice, always bringing me a toy, always doing really nice things and fatherly, I've never felt like any type of a bad feeling about him. So I loved him. My mom and him always had like a certain rough relationship. They would always like get into arguments, and like I felt she didn't like she was still having this thing for my dad, but she was in another country, so she had to like keep on doing her life. um but yeah, they like fight a lot all the time. But me, as I loved him with all my heart. all the time on the fights, I would tell my mom stop it, and I would go and hug him, and he would be like my dad. Really, I would call him dad, and I would always protect him. I would like when my mom would fight with him and all those things. No, so eventually my mom got pregnant, and she had my brother. He's younger than me, obviously, and um, things were kind of going well for some while. He never moved in with my mom. There were always, because of this fighting and things like that, I think they just decided to stay like separated, like each one living in their own house. But when my brother was born, well, I was like the joy of the house. We were all really happy. And I always had this nice relationship with him. That's the part that makes me really confused. And don't get me wrong, he didn't. I think what he did, he was starting. He wanted to see how I would react. Like, let me do this, and then maybe the next time he would do something else. But he just did that one time, and I am so grateful that it only happened that. Well, let me just I know it's not okay. Let me just go. Okay, let me just keep on talking. So, um, one day my mom and him had a really big fight, right? So my mom said, you know what, I'm just gonna go and buy food or something. I really don't remember, right? So I was laying on the bed, and I was used to those things, so I really didn't care anymore. So I was just watching TV, some cartoons or something like that, and I was just relaxing, and he stayed in the house. So suddenly he comes to the upstairs where I was, and I was laying down. I was in my pajamas. I usually used to wear like this long pajama, like one full, like a t-shirt, big t-shirt that goes all the way to my knees. And he just went inside the room, and I just look at him, and he was like, oh my, your mom, as always, she's so mean to me. Look what he like, she's calling me names and things like that. This was the first time he would approach and tell me something like that, because usually I was the one who would come and hug him and tell my mom, hey, don't fight with him, he's my dad, I love him, and things like that. So my mom would just like stay quiet. But this time he came to the room, and he started like saying things for me to feel pity for him. So he started to like lay down in the bed next to me. For me was totally normal, well, he's my dad, he's laying down with me to watch a movie or things like that. But then he put his arm on top of me like this, right? And then when he did that, he started like at first it was like in my tummy. He started hugging me and saying, oh, I feel so sad, I don't know what to do. Your mom, she always tells me this and that. And I was like, oh dad, don't worry, you know how my mom is, she has a strong character, don't worry, and things like that. At that time I was like 10 or 10 or 9 years old. So it passed already like 5 years since I met him, and obviously by that time he was my life. Like, I really loved him as my dad. So maybe that's why it had a big impact towards me, because he was always kind to me. So, what he started doing is that he started hugging me like on my tummy, but then while I was watching the cartoons, I start feeling his hand going towards my breast, and he started like being shy or something like that, and they started like touching it like this, and then I don't want to be so graphic. I just want to like tell them what happened, but so then suddenly he started like doing it more strong, more strong. I Something inside of me just made me freeze. I know that the way he was touching me, it wasn't a way to touch a girl or like your dad touching you. So the first thing that came out of my mind is like survival mood, and I told him I need to pee. Oh, okay, okay. He said, go to the restroom. Go, yeah. Go to the bathroom or whatever. So I just stand up of the bed, jump, and I remember just opening the door of the restroom and just just looking down the floor, and I just freeze. And suddenly, like, this big scaredness came to me. I'm sorry. It's just that he was my dad, and I really loved him. So for me, having this type of feeling, so for me, having this type of feeling made me like so scared. Like, what is he doing? He's my dad. What is he doing? So, um, I remember that he screamed from the room and said, "Is everything okay?" Um, he would call me princess. Is everything okay, my princess, and things like that? And I say, yeah, everything's okay, but I have to go. So I remember just coming down the stairs and just putting like a pants or something, and just being outside the whole time until my mom came back from buying the food. I felt really insecure, and believe me, this is just a little part of what happened to me compared to what could have happened to other people have had worst experiences than me. So because it was so small, and that it wasn't like he didn't like he wasn't inside of me or something so graphic like that. For some time I thought that maybe it was in my head. Maybe I thought something bad. So maybe I'm the one who was confused. But I stayed with it, and he then later he was like normal. Everything was normal after that day. So he didn't approach to do anything else. Maybe he felt that I really felt uncomfortable in a way that I just have to go to the restroom, and just like I actually started crying when I went to the restroom. So but I didn't want him to see me like that. I've never want people to see me weak. So that's why I just went outside and stay outside the whole time. So when some time passed, like let's say like 2 months or like 4 months or something. I remember one day that I was helping out my mom to fold the clothes, and we were just talking, and I just couldn't keep it anymore. And my mom has always been like really open-minded and has given me that opportunity to tell her anything. So I told her what happened, and she went crazy. She was like, I can't believe this happened to you and things like that. And he stopped seeing him like for 2 years. um but then I don't know, well, obviously they still had to have some type of contact because of my brother, my small brother, but it wasn't like they were not in a relationship anymore. But we were having a big struggling times in the house of money. And well, she was a single mother with 2 kids. I totally understand that part. So one day he came to the house, and like it was like I want he went he my mom was there, and he told me like, I don't know if maybe the way I was hugging you or whatever, you misunderstood. I'm so sorry. It wasn't my intention at all to make you feel this way or things like that, right? So, because it was true, it wasn't something so sexual. I'm not saying it's a good thing though, but because it was like, okay, he didn't like actually, something so strong. So I said, okay, it's okay. And he started coming back to the house, and I think my mom and him got together again, because he put it in a way that it was a misunderstanding. um it wasn't my intention. Maybe the way I hug you made me, maybe you got confused or something. So he sold us that idea, right? And I got it. So the first months I couldn't tell him daddy anymore. I used to call him daddy, but later one day he told me, "Oh, can you just please start calling me daddy? You're my daughter, and no matter what, it was just a misunderstanding." And I said, "Okay." So I started getting that connection with him again, with a little doubt inside of me, but after time, really nothing happened. That's the truth. So there were when I was like 11 or 12, my mom decided to come back to Mexico, and she came back, and he stayed in USA. Mm, so I don't know what happened to my mom. She suddenly just came one day and said, "You know what? I'm going back to Mexico." And that's what happened. She took us in a small little car, a little Toyota 1987, that a small car, a little old car, with my brother, me, and our German Shepherd dog called Bonita. So she was driving all the way from California to Mexico. That was like a 3 day journey. But my mom and him made the deal that they were gonna still be in contact, and sooner she would like get back into her, like he would be sending her money to help out, and then he would come to us to Mexico. Um, so that's the deal they made, because they were still like together. So when we arrived to Mexico, um, he would call, and he would stay like 2 hours talking to my mom or things like that. And what he started to like, sometimes I would pick up the phone and the house, and then he would ask me, "Is your mom there?" And I would say, "Oh no, she's not here, she's coming," or whatever. So he started having these weird and random conversations with me, and he would start to tell me, oh, because he was really into God, and he would start to tell me, oh, you know what, Yaha, my princess, the other time I was at church and this woman just be looking at my parts, my private parts, but he would say the real word, right? So she would just be looking at me, and you know what? I don't have to be telling you this, but the thing is that she was looking at them because I have a really big one. And the first time he started talking to me like this, I was like, "Oh, okay." And I I was like really polite, and that's something that over time I have to because I still am sometimes. I'm so polite, and I don't try to like uh, shut people when they're talking or things like that. So he was like doing this, and he would stay like 2 hours until my mom would come back, and he would just be having this random uncomfortable conversations with me about his parts or how he feels the need to have sex with with women, but he can't because he's with my mom. And he would have having this conversation that I really wasn't comfortable on listening to it. So I started not picking up the cause. But what I started to notice that every time I would not pick up the call, or I would not, like, my mom would pick up the call and he would say, "Oh, come, he wants to say hi, say hi to him." He would not. If I would say, "No, no, no, I'm busy, I'm doing homework, or I can't, or whatever," then he stopped sending us money. So my mom would I would hear her fighting on the phone, as and she would be, what do you mean you're not gonna send us some money? We need it. You know, you don't want me to work, so we need this and that, blah blah blah. No, so but when I would accept his cause, he would start sending he would send us money. So I felt like I had to listen to his conversations, so uncomfortable conversations, for us to sustain and have some money for the house. Until obviously it got to a point when I finished my university. My brother was growing up, and my other brother, because I have two brothers, and there was a time that we grew up, and then we didn't needed the money anymore. It sounds bad, right? But well, my mom was still with him in conversations, but me, we were going okay. I was working, and I could help out in the house. My mom started working also, so she would help out while she would maintain us. So it wasn't that a need to be listening to him, so I stopped completely answering the calls. So that's when he started like all again trying to say, "Oh, I'm not gonna send any money," and things like that. He would tell it to my mom, right? But because I didn't care anymore, because I know that we were okay, I didn't pick up the calls. And that was around 2005. um no, it was around 2006 or 7 that I just stopped with the calls with him. And I didn't answer a call. And my mom would ask me, like, why you don't want to pick up his calls? So because of so much fighting and things like that, they end up like separating. So actually he stopped calling us. And because he would not send any money, he would be really rude to my mom and things like that, or invent some crazy things about his health or whatever. So I went to live to New York around 2010, and one day I just received a call from him from my New York number, and I didn't know who was that, so I pick up the call, obviously. Um, so it had been like 3 years that I haven't spoke with him at all. And he told me, I am so sorry. I know why you don't want to talk to me. And I don't know what I was thinking. My intention wasn't like doing the same thing he was doing that first time he touched me. But by that time, I'm already a grown woman and I don't take that bullshit, right? So I just told him, you know what, it's okay. Um, I wish you the best. I told him, and it's fine. Obviously, not obviously because I should have, but by that time I hadn't told my mom anything about this random, uncomfortable sexual conversations that he was having with me. And I didn't tell her up to like last year, 2018. And by that time she was like so confused. She cried because, well, manipulators are like that. They always are like the victim. So you have to be really careful of those little red flags that they give you. And the whole point of this, I want to say, is no one has the right to touch you in any way. If one touch makes you uncomfortable, no matter what it is, it's not it's not you who's bad, it's that person. And you have the right to tell them to stop. Um the whole point of this is just that I was so confused for many years, thinking that I was the one who was like crazy. Why would you think that of your dad? When he started having these conversations, the reality is that, yeah, I was right at that time when that thing happened to me. Why would a dad, regardless if he's your stepfather or not, talk to you about those type of things? So it was it wasn't like, oh, you're leaving it there with him and he goes at night doing you things, but he was always in my mind anyway, because he would be on my phone for like 2 to 3 hours every 3 days or every 2 days, so it's also an abuse. So words do hurt. And whenever you feel something, listen inside of you, because that means that there is something going on. And the only thing I can tell you guys is to never stay quiet. Never. Because that's the difference between you getting help or staying a victim for the rest of your life. Never, never, no matter who it is, you should stay quiet. And talking to this, it doesn't affect me that much. Only when I feel those feelings again that I felt. But is I just want to open up. Not even my brother knows about this. The only person that knows this is my mom and some friends, really close friends, like 2 friends, and my husband. But the point of this is that you deserve respect. No matter the age you have, no matter your ethnicity, no matter your economics, your socioeconomic life, no matter what, you deserve respect. And always, always shout out for help. I'm so thankful that it wasn't more than than some people go through, but it still affected me for many years. So I just want you guys, if I'm here and I can help you out a little bit with my experience and tell you that it's okay to say, never stay quiet, then I'm happy to be that person for you guys. Um, Comment below if you have experienced something like this, because it's weird. It's not like a sexual abuse, but it is an abuse. And in a way, it is sexual. It is sexual because it's verbally, and it's worse because it's in your mind, you know? So, you guys, I hope that I'm helping you out in something or some way. And I'll come next week with another video, and send me comments. I know that sometimes it's really hard to talk to people about things. So if you feel the need that you're going through a situation and I can help you out with an advice or help you out to find an organization or an institute that can help you out in whatever situation you are, I'm more than happy to do it, okay? So thumbs up to the video, and I'll see you guys next week.